Hello, this is Stan Roach speaking. I'll introduce myself. I am Chief Customer Officer and appreciate all of you coming today. Here in a bit, I will be handing the baton to another speaker who is at the moment silent, but won't be for long, Satish Menon, our founder and CEO, who will be doing a demo of version 8. After I give some introductory overview comments. Satish, you're welcome to say hello.
Hi, everyone.
I'm going to jump right into the presentation because an hour is actually fairly tight. And part one is me giving an overview of a bunch of stuff. Part two is Satish doing the demo and a bunch of stuff, and then part three is the questions and answer time. I like to start with the end in mind. So the desired outcome of this webinar is to give you something to do after the webinar, because this hour will go fairly quickly, and this due diligence process that most of you are in is not something that you will check off as done in an hour. This is more like a trip to the top of the iceberg. And so I wanted to be able to make sure that all of you knew what was available and where to get it after the webinar was over. Okay, and then there's some basics that I want to make sure everyone understands, and then some advanced things that I want to make sure everyone understands. So this is the format of my piece. When we get to the basics, I'm going to focus on the simple questions: who is Agiliron Suite for? What problems does it solve? What are its benefits? What is it? Because it's so many things, which is why, of course, we call it a suite. And what is it not? And then the advanced stuff is all version 8 stuff, which I will just largely introduce conceptually, and Satish will go into depth on. Okay, the useful content that is available to all of you is in 3 locations after the webinar is over. First, our website. We just updated our website yesterday with a bunch of new material, and I'm going to talk about it. And the Learning Center is also quite good. I'll tell you about that. And the new version 8 landing page, I'll tell you about that. These are the 3 places that you'll want to go for extra depth after the seminar. On the website, there's several new things. They're all they're done in a way that is respectful of your time. The first one is a new cartoon, which is a grand total of 2.7 minutes long, about Bob of Wacky Widgets. And it makes an important point, though, that is simplified because it's in a cartoon format, but there is additional material at the Learning Center that can explain in excruciating detail why the claims that are made by Bob in Wacky Widgets are true. Then the second thing, that it's actually 13.3 minutes, not 12, is the Agiliron overview video. It just also got posted last night. It's very good, and it is all of the video in it, all of the visual comes from version 8, and it's an executive summary overview of the product. It's kind of a hop, skip, and a jump. The next 2 items are in the midst of final production right now. The audio is recorded, the video is being recorded and edited. It's a 12-minute piece on the POS for brick and mortar stores and a 12-minute piece on web stores. Those are both good deep dives on those 2 channels, and if you have an interest in them, which undoubtedly some of you will, you'll want to watch those. Those will be going up sometime in the next couple of weeks. Then there is an onboarding video that is there, and it explains how we onboard new customers, because onboarding requires data migration and customization and configuration. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. There's also a new button at the website for signing up for a consultation period with the company. It happens to go to me at the moment. And then there will also soon, within a day or so, be a consultation call video. So these are all new materials that are at our website. The Learning Center is just the same website, www.agiliron.com, with the /learn, and that takes you to the Learning Center. It's also, if you happen to have a trial or a finished product, it's the help. You click the help button, it takes you to the Learning Center, and by the end of the month it'll have 1,200 new screenshots, all from version 8, and it importantly has the explanation of why Bob at Wacky Widgets is having such a difficult time in the multi-channel commerce section. That is very good. And then the landing page, the V8 landing page, is also coming later this week. So today is the inaugural kickoff of our 4 webinars that introduce version 8 to the market. And these are some of the materials that you'll want to go see afterwards. Incidentally, you will be getting this deck as well as a recorded version of this webinar in your email. The basic questions, who is it for, what's it solve, what's its benefits, I'll talk about now. Who's it for? It's fundamentally for people that have inventory and sell products. And I say this to distinguish it from the service industries that, like the dentist and the lawyer and that sort of thing, that don't have physical inventory. This is for people who have physical inventory, and that includes retailers, wholesalers or distributors, light manufacturers, or many of our customers are bits and pieces of all of the above. Okay, for retailers, there's at least 3 to 4 different configurations. The first is the classic brick and mortar retailer that has between 1 to many stores. Then there's the e-commerce crowd that has web stores or maybe sells at Amazon or eBay. And of course there are many people that do both of those. And then there is an emerging need for people to sometimes sell mobily, whether it's a kiosk at the airport or whether it's a back of a truck or a van that goes to manufacturing locations, or whether it's the flea market, or whether it's trade shows or events of different kind. And a lot of our clients, we are discovering, are combinations of all of the above. And it's in the combination of all the above that, of course, many of the problems occur, because multi-channel commerce is very difficult to do. On the wholesaler distributor front, there's a couple of capabilities of the product that are specifically critical to the wholesaler distributor crowd. The B2B web store that allows customer-specific pricing or credit limits or multiple ship-tos or purchase orders, all of the things that you need to support for a business-to-business kind of transaction when you need to know who it is that you're selling to. So it requires that the customer log in, and upon logging in, then we know who it is and we know what price you may give them, or etc. The other thing that is important for the distributor wholesalers is, of course, general operational efficiency at the warehouse and the shipping function. So we have a new warehouse management app on the iPad that is very good for automating a bunch of the functions like receiving and cycle count and pick list creation that is important for wholesaler distributors. The manufacturers that we have, oftentimes people are retailers and wholesalers, but there's a line of products that they also manufacture. Sometimes they're fully integrated manufacturers that just sell their own product, wholesale and retail. But the key thing that we have for manufacturers is called assembly products, which is in acronym land, MRP, Manufacturer Resource Planning, that allows you to manage the inventory of components, particularly components that may find their way into multiple finished goods. So each of the finished goods will have a bill of material, and there can be work orders that express the time to go manufacture some of an item and to pull the components together for manufacturing. So these are the customers that we focus on. They all have inventory and sell products. They all are seeking typically to sell more by selling in more places. So what is the problem that Agiliron solves? The biggest, there's two big problems. The number one is multi-channel selling, because up to this point most commerce systems are single channel in focus, and the other is hodgepodge patchwork, which we sometimes call Frankenware, because the tradition in desktop software is you buy best of breed, solo, siloed application, and you stitch it together with other best of breed applications. But in the SaaS, software as a service, or cloud-based world that we're in now, you can have all of those integrated into a suite and kind of pre-integrate and save the user a lot of the problems of a patchwork. Now, I heartily recommend that you invest the 12 minutes it takes to watch the cartoon Bob of Wacky Widgets and to watch the three-minute videos that explain why understanding multi-channel is so important, because it's not until you really get your mind around those issues that you realize how critical it is in today's world. If you're selling product and you want to grow by selling in multiple places, you really need a multi-channel commerce suite. So our benefit is to help you sell more in more places, but manage in one. Everybody wants to sell more. The more places that we talk about means more sales channels. So whether it's Amazon or eBay, or whether or not it's a web store or B2C or B2B web store, or more stores, or whether it's mobile at events, selling in all of the places that people buy is the whole premise, but not redundantly keeping inventory and product detail and price information in each separate channel. Rather, as soon as a sale is made in one channel, then inventory that is available to all the channels knows about it. So that's the manage in one part. This is a sort of a snapshot of the 5 primary channels of distribution that are all together in one suite. The point of sale, B2C web store, B2B web store, which has a totally different set of functions that enhance it for B2B commerce, Amazon and eBay. And these 5 channels are the core 5. We will be adding Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, in which case you're selling through Amazon, but it's using Amazon's fulfillment as well. So there are additional ones, but these are the 5 core. And the key thing is that you have a back-end shared set of services that are centralized, that manage inventory and price and POs and customer support and CRM for all of those channels in one place, and that you are facile in moving around, and you have reporting and a 360-degree view of all of the elements. So what do we call the Agiliron suite? At its core, we call it a commerce suite. Commerce because it deals with orders and transactions and prices and inventory and fulfillment and shipment. And it's a suite because it has all of those modules integrated, but it's designed from the very beginning to deal with multi-channels. So each channel is sort of an extrusion of the data and functionality that is specific to that channel. And we deliver this in a cloud-based system, or SaaS, software as a service, which is critical as a technology that enables mobile, it enables real-time multi-location, and it lessens the client's hardware requirements and maintenance issues, and it's particularly critical for the creation of the suite. And all of this, of course, since we don't have and never will have and have always planned not to have an accounting system, so that we integrate right now in the U.S. with QuickBooks, but there will be ultimately additional accounting systems in various markets that will be important for us to integrate with. So this is a picture, the multiple channels. You've got the offline, physical presence, retail POS, mobile POS, direct sales, telesales, field sales. And then you've got the online channels, the B2C and B2B plus marketplaces. And all of that together comprises the multiple channels that we support. And then you have back office and front office backbone functionality. Order manage, the front office are things facing the customer, like order management, customer support, CRM, email marketing. And the back office are kind of the ERP things, inventory, pricing, purchasing, fulfillment, reporting. And then all of that taken together, the backbone plus the multiple channels, defines the Agiliron suite, and it's plugged in to QuickBooks for accounting integration. Now, this system, of course, sits in the larger commerce ecosystem, and so we have to integrate with a bunch of things, which these arrows all indicate. The first one, of course, which we already talked about, QuickBooks, and we've already talked about integration with marketplaces like Amazon and eBay. But we also, in addition to having our own B2C web store and B2B web store, we do have integration adapters, so that if you happen to already have a Shopify or BigCommerce or Magento or WooCommerce B2C store, our adapters allow those stores to plug right into our backend. Along the way, we also have integrated with credit card processing and Agiliron Tax Cloud if you want real-time tax rate lookups. And we've integrated for shipping with ShipStation, which has integrated with the main shipping companies as well as additional ones that aren't listed here like DHL, others. So this is sort of an ecosystem picture of the things we integrate with on the outside. So what are we not? Well, we are not a desktop app. We are a cloud-based app, and quite proud of it because it's a critical enabling technology. It's where the world is going. It saves the customer a lot of headaches. It creates headaches for us, but it takes them off the customer is the main thing. We are also not middleware. There's a lot of talk and confusion about middleware. Middleware is like a bridge that connects two islands. We are the two islands plus the bridge, if you will. We are an integrated suite. And we are not designed really for the service industries. We do have service products, but they're typically used by people who are selling something and a service with it. Like, here's your tires, buy your tires from the tire company, and they will put them on for you for a service fee. So there are service products that oftentimes go along with physical product that we do support with service products. So that's a picture of the product. Now let's jump to the advanced stuff, which is version 8. Here is, oh, What time is it? Ooh, I should stop. This is the features of version 8 that are critical for everybody. There's a whole new user interface that we've worked on for many months, and it's of course optimized around productivity of the individual users. Then we have a responsive web stores and POS, and responsive means it automatically resizes and reshapes itself for the device that you're on. So if you're on a pad or a phone, you get automatic mobility supported with responsive. The offline POS is of course critical if your internet is disconnected, and it's for people that have brick and mortar stores. This is very critical. There's a long list of POS features, some of which will be mentioned today. The warehouse management app, which I spoke of earlier as particularly critical for distributors and wholesalers for the efficiency and automation of warehouse functions, is very, very useful. The Learning Center is a search-based, rather than having a manual that you use as a doorstop. The Learning Center is a searchable, hypertext, rich media environment. In fact, all of our videos are there. And lastly, there will be some discussion about the new EMV chip in a card support that we will be offering. So the new user interface is sort of captured here, and the responsive web stores give you tremendous mobility so that your sales clerks are now untethered from being stuck to wherever the checkout stand is, and your stores are also unstuck. They can go wherever the customer goes. And the POS is likewise very mobile and supports the clerks going around. I think I spoke about the POS prematurely. The web store is for ordering product from any location. And you are welcome to call or email me at any time with any questions. You can also go to the website and sign up for a consultation, and I'll call you, and you can pick a time that's good for your schedule that way. So at this juncture, I'd like to turn the baton over to Satish Menon, our founder and CEO, who will focus primarily on version 8 and all the coming goodies. I now need to go to staff, phone, make presenter. Yes. This is a baton being handed digitally.
Yes, thank you, Stan. Okay, so the second half of the presentation today will focus on some of the details around the feature list that Stan just went through in terms of what's coming in version 8. So the agenda for the second half here is we'll do a demo of the CRM and the back office, which, as Stan mentioned, is something we've been working on for many months now. And then we'll go over some of the things that are coming on the point of sale side, including a new hardware portal where you can purchase hardware that is compatible and meant to work with Agiliron POS, along with some new devices that we'll be supporting by end of the month or so. Responsive themes on the e-commerce side, and then on the warehouse management side, we'll cover some of what's out there already as well as what's coming by end of the month. There's a customer migration plan, especially for existing customers when it comes to version 8, and we'll go over that. And then we have a little bit of a preview into what's coming in the first half of 2016. Okay. So with the next generation user interface for the CRM and back office, we had certain goals that we were trying to achieve, and here's sort of a few bullets that talk to that. One is, today, customers access, applications from devices of different form factors, from phones to tablets to desktops and laptops. And so being able to support that was clearly one of the key goals. But as part of that exercise, we also took a look at the user interface from a point of view of layout, interactivity, productivity, etc. And so there's a large-scale changes that have been made to accommodate for those. One of those, as an example, is in-place editing. So when you have a list of products that you're looking at or a list of customers that you're looking at, now you can actually edit some of the fields for them right there in the spreadsheet itself, as opposed to editing into one of them and making changes and then saving it. There's a lot more user control over different data panels, so you can color the title bars, you can collapse the panels that you don't want to see, you can move and rearrange them, so it gives you the user a lot more control in terms of how they visualize the information that's available in the system. There's a bunch of usability related improvements, and we will continue to build on that, providing wizards for different workflows and so on and so forth. And the last point there, which is compatibility. So we've tried to minimize changes from the point of view of business workflows and processes, so that if you were used to doing things a certain way, you can still expect to do them the same way. Now, obviously, the user interface is different, and so it may take a couple of days to get used to that. But there's no fundamental change in terms of what to expect from a business workflow standpoint. Okay. So with that, let me jump into a demo of the back office. Okay, so first off, the login screen is different. We do have an image here, which is a placeholder at this point. But this space here is meant to be a communication vehicle for us to communicate with you, the customer. And so upcoming releases, announcements, those types of things are some things that will get posted here. And since you use this as your entry into the system, our hope is that you look at that and get apprised of what's happening. So I'll go ahead and log in. So once you log in, this is the rendering of the desktop that you would use. It's very different than what we have now. For those who are existing customers, these are what used to be tabs across the top. So on the left panel here, we have the different modules that the system offers, like, for example, leads and potentials and accounts and contacts having to do with customers. And then for some of these modules, there are sub-modules. So under products, for example, we have vendors and price books. The good news here is that to access one of these sub-modules, now you don't have to click into a module to do that. You can just expand the menu and then go there. And similarly, under orders, you have sales and purchase orders and returns. You've got shipping and receiving here, and then accounting, including the QuickBooks export. So for this left panel here, this is the list of modules. You can customize the order in which you see them. You can also customize which of them are displayed. So if some of these things don't make sense for a particular user, they can be turned off. This button here at the bottom allows you to collapse this panel. So if you're on a tablet and you're squeezed for real estate and you kind of want to minimize it, you can do that. And then you click it back again to bring it back. There's also a button on the top right here that allows you to collapse that menu completely. So if I click that, you can see that the left panel completely went away. And so the point of this is to allow you to manage your workspace and focus on the things where you want that real estate to be used. As I kind of work my way around this page here, my account, you can click on Profile to bring up the details about the user. You can customize the panels, the tabs modules you want to use. You can click Mail to go to email and Calendar. There is a pop-up here that's not populated yet, but this is meant to be a quick access to notification, tasks, messages, etc. So this will be something that's coming soon. Your last few viewed items. So if you've accessed a account or a contact or a product, all the different entities that you may have touched last, that's displayed in this recently viewed menu. And now it does support up to 10 items compared to the 5 that we currently have. And so that's the place you would go to pull that up. And then the new commands to create new entities. So all of them are listed in this menu up here as well. Okay, so that's a little bit of change in terms of how the modules are organized and then where you go to create new ones. As I kind of move up here, this is global search. So if you put in a term here and you run search, it will run across all the modules and look up that particular term that you specified. This is settings, okay, and this is where you would go to basically do customization for the business, okay. The types of things that you can do here has not changed. It's exactly the same list that we have in pre-V8, but this is the place that you go to access that. This is help. Stan talked about the new learning center. Okay, so let me open that. Okay, so this is the new learning center. It has a whole host of videos that have been posted here. So starting with that wacky widgets video that Stan was talking about, the problems explained, overview videos, all kinds of tutorials. So this is one place that you can go to see all the videos that we have, along with, of course, the text-based help as well, based on specific topics, right? So this learning center is anchored around search. So you don't have to go and look around. Just type in the term that you're looking for, and it will pull up the results that's relevant to whatever it is that you are trying to find. And then this tells you about our version and what the release is and so on. This is full screen. So if you wanted to go full screen, get rid of the browser menus, all that, you can do that. Okay. And then the last button here is to log out. Okay. So that's kind of how the system is organized. It's a little cleaner and nicer than obviously what we have right now, which is kind of the point of this exercise. Now let me go into one of these modules. I'll go into products. Okay, so this is the presentation for whenever you click on any of these modules on the left, this is the presentation that you'll get, which is basically a list of things. So when we clicked on products, we got a list of all the products that are in the system. This list supports paging. Okay, so in this particular case, it says it has 1 to 20 of 47 items. Okay, so I can click to go to the next page and see the next list and so on. One thing you'll notice as I do that is that it's not refreshing the entire page. It's just moving the data within the spreadsheet itself, right? So that's a big difference from our current interface, which obviously loading a page is far more expensive in terms of time and network traffic and so on. And so performance-wise, this will give a much better rendering. There's also the ability for you to change how many items you see per page on the fly. So I could change this to 50 and it will update. In our current system, you have to create a custom view to be able to do this. Here, you can kind of do that on the fly. Now, of course, this change does not get saved. So if you want this to be saved for future, then you still need to create that custom view, which is under this view menu here. But if you are just doing something quickly, then this allows you to kind of do that. Okay. Now, if I come here, there are 3 buttons. One is edit, and this is the inline editing that I was talking about earlier. This is delete. Okay, and this is the edit all, which gives you the complete list of fields for that particular entity, and then you can go make changes to it. Okay. With each of these columns, there is a menu drop down here that allows you to sort ascending or descending. It also allows you to run a filters on it. Okay, so as an example, I could go here and say, show me all the products that start with USB. Okay, and I can hit filter. Okay. But in this pop-up here, you'll also see that it allows you to have multiple filters. So you could do, Booleans on and on or. Okay, so you could have up to a couple of filters defined. And then let me run the filter. And so here you got the 2 products that start with USB. Okay, so you can do this on any of the columns. Okay, and so this is a big improvement over obviously the search capabilities, etc., that we have in our current system. Okay, and let me go now to maybe another module to make the point that it looks pretty much the same. Okay, so this spreadsheet type of view you will see pretty much across the entire system wherever there's a list of something to be displayed. Okay, and they all have exactly the same set of capabilities. So here, let me change this, do a little inline editing. I'll change the city here to New York. Okay, and I can save that. Okay, and that's an example of something where you could create a view that has the columns that you want to modify, okay, and then you can edit them directly right there, one after the other, okay. As far as how to see the data for each of these entities, that has not changed. So if you click on the account name, it shows you a read-only view of all the fields and what the values are. Or you can click here to edit to, go and edit those fields. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on this one. Okay, so this is the account information. Okay, and so there are different panels that show you, different pieces of data. Okay, and then for this particular account, all the related information is in tabs here. Okay, so sales orders, for example, would display all the orders that have been received from this particular customer account. Okay. Now, as far as these panels are concerned, you have the ability now to assign colors to them. Okay, so I could go change this to a different color. Okay, I can also collapse them. Okay, in which case, if I don't want to see the information from that panel, or for a particular user, a particular panel of information is not relevant to their job, then they can collapse it and not worry about it. Okay. You can also move panels around. So, if I wanted this the payment panel to be about the accounting, I can just drag and drop it, okay, and rearrange things, okay. So this gives you some. This is the user control over how the data is presented, and and in what order, and which one's relevant and which not. So every user gets the ability to go and customize each of these modules to present the data exactly the way they want it. And the system basically remembers all these customizations that have been made, okay? And so the next time you come back, it will present it exactly the way it is. So I've made this change to account, right? So if I switch over, let's say, let me go to a contact, okay? And then I'll come back to this account just to make the point that, these settings are in fact, retrieved. So I'll go back to REI, okay? And so there you are. Okay, so the changes that we made are saved and brought back. Okay, so and then if I edit this, you get the edit view, which is all the fields, and you can make the necessary changes and save it off as well. Okay, so that's the quick overview of the CRM back office changes. Like I said, maybe a day or two to just get your arms around it and adjust a little bit of your operating model, but the workflows and how the data is and all that stuff has not changed, and I don't think it will be a big transition to getting used to this. Okay. Okay, so let me go back to my files here and go over some of the remaining things. So on the Agiliron POS, we have a bunch of new features. The first being support for smartphones. So the picture that you see here on the right is the Agiliron POS running on an iPhone. Okay, the POS, when you run it on a tablet or when you run it on a desktop or laptop, is a single screen POS. Whereas on an iPhone, given the size and space that we have, we've gone to a wizard-based interface where there are actually 4 steps. Okay, as signified by this 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So on the first page, you select the customer and the product. The next one, you fill in the details like notes and stuff like that, discounts and so on. And then the third step is where you process the payment. And then the fourth step, you complete the checkout, print the receipt, and so on. Okay. So that's available now. You can go to the iTunes store and you can download the app for the iPhone. The POS offline capability is also now available, and this is to support certain use cases where your internet connection goes down, or you're in a place like a conference or something where maybe you don't have internet access, or you want to capture the payment information for processing later. So in all these cases, the offline capability is a nice way to kind of do that, and it's meant to provide peace of mind that, hey, if this is a cloud POS, what if the internet connection goes down? How do I continue to sell stuff? And so this is something that we've spent a lot of energy to get right, because obviously there are a lot of concerns about data, especially let's say your browser dies or your iPad runs out of a battery or something. What happens in those scenarios? Well, now all of that stuff is, your data is persisted. It stays within your browser cache. In any of those situations that I described. when you come back and you start it up again, it will remember and take you back to exactly where things were, and then you can sync things back to the back office. Okay. Performance improvements, we made many of those. So at startup, customer selections, report generation, all of these things, the performance has been dramatically increased. We have customers now that have 30, 50,000 products, 20, 30,000 customers, and you'll find the load times on the POS to be extremely fast, matter of seconds. We've also introducing some new features here in the last bullet, product name substring search, which has been a heavily requested feature. So, for example, if you have a product that's named All-Tech Speakers USB, and you searched by USB, which is the last word in that string, with this change, it would get picked up, whereas right now it doesn't do that. So that's one of them. Matrix SKU code search. So if you're selling products that have attribute-based inventory, which is size, color, those types of things, each of the SKUs gets to have its own unique code, which is what that matrix SKU code is. And now within the POS, you can search by that as well, okay, to pick up exactly the SKU that you might be looking for. This button here that you see with a little pencil, okay, that's supporting line item notes. Okay, so for every line item, if you wanted to put a note there, you can actually do that now. And all of these things, by the way, I'm referring to the V8 release end of the month, right? So you may not find it if you go look for it today, but by end of the month you will find it. And so that's to support cases where you either these are custom products or you wanted to make a customer specific note or something like that. The second thing we are announcing here is the POS hardware portal. So far, we provided a list of supported hardware, but you had to kind of go off and find it and buy it on your own and stuff. And now we are collaborating with POS portal to provide an interface that essentially has a complete set of hardware that's supported by Agiliron. Okay, so there's no ambiguity of what you need to buy. So this is the Agiliron website at agiliron.com. If you go under product and you click on POS hardware, okay, it will take you to the portal for hardware purchases. Okay, the home page here has a couple of bundles, one for the iPad and one for PCs. Okay, but if you scroll down and you click on see more bundles and accessories, this has the complete set. So there's a bundle for PC, iPad, and Mac. And if you don't want the bundles and you want just something, one of these devices or whatever, you can click into the appropriate category and find the right one and then essentially go buy those. So for example, if I go under card readers, you'll find all the supported credit card readers. Okay, these two being the ones for the iPad and then these for desktops and laptops. Okay, let me go back to the bundles. So if I go into the POS bundle, PC bundle rather, you'll see that this bundle has the printer, cash drawer, the barcode scanner, and the card reader all part of it. Okay, and let's say I add this to cart. So here you have a couple of options to buy. One is you can pay the full price and buy it, or you can actually finance this over a 24-month period. So you have both the options. There is an 800 number here which connects you to POS portal, okay, which is the company that we're collaborating with on this, and they're happy to help answer questions about the hardware and so on, as well as anything related to the financing and so on. Okay, so this is a one-stop shop for POS hardware. As we add devices, support, etc., we'll obviously update this portal, and you can basically go there to make the purchases necessary. Okay, so that was the POS portal. Now going back to POS features, so we have a couple of device support that's coming end of the month. One is for the iPad and the iPhone. There's some support for the MacTech iDynamo, and this is a credit card reader that plugs into the power slot on the iPads and the iPhones. One of the reasons we added this is the increased security of end-to-end encryption. So E2E here means end-to-end encryption, which means that when you swipe that card, the data that's actually streamed from the device to the payment processor does not actually send real data. It sends an encrypted stream. Okay, so it's one more level of protection where the data is never actually seen by anybody. Also, by end of the month, we'll be supporting the first EMV device, which is this Deja Vu Z11. Okay, the picture of that you can see here. And this supports processing by swipe, which is what most of you do today. It has support for PIN pads, so if you're using a debit card, if your customer is using a debit card or whatever, they can use that. There is the EMV card dip, which allows you to push, if it has a card with a chip, you can actually insert it into the device. And then the NFC, which is the contactless thing, where you just bring the card close to the device and it basically picks things up from there. So once we introduce this and you choose to adopt this, the processing mechanism changes a little bit. So what happens with this device is that the payment information goes directly from that terminal to your payment processor and back, and the POS is only communicating with the device in terms of providing the total amount that needs to be processed and the confirmation and authorization number coming back. Okay, so the flow changes a little bit, but it's obviously meant to support more security and that type of stuff. With EMV devices, there is 3 levels of certification. So this device has been certified level 1 and level 2, and then the level 3 certification comes from the payment processor, which is what we are waiting on. Okay. If you are a customer that's using Mercury Pay as your payment processor, the cost of these devices will be covered by Mercury till end of December. So give them a call once we are ready to support these by end of the month or so, and then have Mercury essentially provide these devices to you. Okay, on the e-commerce stores, there has been a trickle of these responsive designs. Now we have about 15 new designs in place with V8, and it's our goal that once that happens, then we'll begin phasing out the old design. This is not meant to say that if you have a store with an old design that is going to go away. We'll continue to support whatever stores you have, but we will not basically allow for creation of new stores with any of the old designs. So we'll phase those out. With B2B stores, we've introduced the single-page product checkout thing 6-8 weeks ago, and so that's a new way to essentially support your B2B customers who mainly do reorders, right? So they have a certain set of things that they order again and again, in which case your traditional shopping cart model may not be the most appropriate. Instead, they get a spreadsheet view where all they have to do is fill in the quantities and say add to cart and be done. Okay. Okay, the warehouse management app, version 1.3 is in the iTunes store now, so you can go download it. It's available only for Enterprise Edition and supports the picking flow, receiving flow, and cycle counts. Okay. As of version 1.3, it also supports partial receiving. Okay, the picture of that is what you see on the right here. We made a lot of performance improvements. This is another example where we have customers that have tens of thousands of products, and now the download times and syncing and etc. is in the seconds, and so it's become very usable even for businesses with large numbers of SKUs. By end of October, there's a 1.4 that's going through Apple's approval process, and so you should see even more navigation and usability improvements based on a lot of the feedback that we've received from customers that have been using it. Okay, so the migration plan for V8 with new customers that sign up after end of October, they obviously automatically get V8. But for existing customers, we're going to leave a window between end of October and February 1st, where you have a choice to stay on 7 if you want to till February 1. But if you decide you want to go to V8, you can request it of us, but you will not be automatically migrated till February 1st. So come February 1st, everybody will be on V8. But between here and February 1st, we'll leave the choice to you. And if you want to do it, let us know. Otherwise, you can stay on 7 till the February 1. And the reason we decided to do that is that this is holiday season, and we don't want to be disruptive to the holiday season selling and so on. So that choice is up to you. The one caveat is that we will not do any more releases around 7. So 7.19, which should come out in the next few days, will be the last of the 7 releases. And so if you decide not to migrate to V8 till February 1, you essentially stay on that 7.19 release with no new features. So all new features will go into V8. Okay, so final foil here, first half of 2016, a few big things that we are working on. The first of them being a advanced business intelligence module, which really means reporting, dashboards, charts, those types of things. And as we've kind of begun supporting, bigger and bigger businesses, this has become a critical feature, especially for management reporting. And so we decided to go back to the drawing board and create something from scratch that is really meant to be a little bit more holistic in terms of how we address this. And so that's something that will debut in Q1. Amazon FBA support, which is really around the movement of inventory between your warehouse and FBA and so on. That's coming. Pay invoice is essentially allowing you to send an invoice to a customer and have them go to a link and pay for it. Okay, so that support is coming. Usability wizards around various workflows, that'll be coming as well. And then multi-currency support. So by first half of 2016, we plan to have support for multiple currencies within the system. And then developer API, this is kind of an ongoing effort where we continue to expand what the API can support and more use cases and so on. Okay. So that's it. So let me pause there. I think we have about 5-7 minutes, and if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer those.
Oh, there's a group of questions.
Okay, so let me see if I can take them. Yeah.
Aaron has a series and Mark has a series, looks like.
Okay, so is there an ability to invoice customers via email and also have the invoice paid outline? Yeah, so that's what that pay invoice capability is, Aaron, that we are working on. So that will be available in the first half. My guess is more likely Q1. How do customers view product reviews in this format? So product reviews, I'm presuming you're referring to reviews on the e-commerce store. And so within the e-commerce store, we do have support for product reviews. They can be posted, and then they essentially show up when you go to the product page on the store. What level of PCI compliance have we achieved? So we are PCI level 1 compliant, which is the highest level of compliance that PCI DSS supports. Okay, and so we are a PCI level 1 service provider, have been for the last 3 or 4 years. Does the POS support barcode scanning via Bluetooth for both iPad and iPhone? The answer is yes. There is a specific device that we do support. It's called the Socket Mobile 7CI, I think it is. So let me go to the hardware portal here. And scanners. This is the one that we support for iOS, and this is mobile, and it's a nice small little device. So yes, the answer is we do support that. Okay, let's see. Are you using your own web front today, or are you going to use another tool? So the answer, Mark, is both. So we do offer our own B2C and B2B e-commerce stores, but we also have adapters for 4 of the most popular shopping carts, which are BigCommerce, Shopify, Magento, and WooCommerce. Is there a chip reader available for the POS? Yes, that's coming. It was the one that I highlighted on my foil here. So this one, the Deja Vu Z11, this will be the first of those devices that we support. Does your webfront offer a payment purchase plan option? No, out of the box, it does not have a plan option. So that's something that would need to be added. We would like to speak to a representative of Mercury Pay. Yeah, so if you needed to speak to Mercury Pay, just go to the Mercury Pay webpage, mercurypay.com, and there is an 800 number up here. you can just call them, tell them that you're working with Agiliron, and they'll route you to the right person. Okay, so let's see, 2-3 minutes left. So I don't understand how there is an app for warehouse management. You can interface with the warehouse system using a personal phone device in this app. The answer is yes. So if we go back to that foil, if you see this picture, Mark, you'll see that there are 3 buttons down here. These are basically the mechanisms that things flow back and forth. Okay, so this app itself is meant to run offline. Okay, except for these touch points where it needs to connect to the back office. So there are 2 buttons here: one to pull down products, and the other to pull down orders. Okay, and then there's 1 button for you to sync up any changes that you make using this app back to the back office. So these 3 touch points are what enables you to communicate with the back office when needed. Otherwise, you can pretty much operate everything else within this app. Okay. Yes, anything product reviews, etc., on the site will be seen in the mobile version as well. Yeah. So one question from Orville about importing eBay information. Yes. So in version 8, Orville, we have added the capability for you to bring in eBay item IDs for your existing listings into Agiliron. Okay. So if you've looked at a trial or something, and if you've seen, how we've done it for Amazon, where there's a field for the ASIN number. Similarly, with eBay, there's a field now for eBay item ID. And if it's a matrix item product, there's a support for eBay variation SKU as a field. And so you can essentially take your existing listings and plug it in. If your question is, can we export our product data and bring it in? No, that we haven't implemented yet, but that's certainly something that we want to be able to do, just like we've done for some of the other tools that we integrate with. Is there a chip reader for the POS for iOS specifically? The answer is that's coming. So the device that I showed you,
Z. Deja Vu Z.
So let me see that. Yeah, so Deja Vu Z11 is something that's for desktop laptops and so on, but they have a Z1 which is meant for mobile. Okay, so that's supposed to debut end of November from the hardware vendor, Deja Vu. And so once that becomes available, our integration doesn't really matter whether it's Z11 or Z1. The mechanism is the same. So as soon as that hardware device actually comes to market, then it will automatically be available as part of the same integration that we have. Okay. So the question from Mark was, is the site we are looking at with the scanner, is that your own shopping cart? No. So for that POS hardware store, we are collaborating with a company called POS Portal. Okay, they are obviously the hardware vendor, and what we've done is provide them with exactly our catalog of what's supported. So what you see on that portal is the Agiliron portal managed by POS Portal, and it's this basically exactly the set of things that works with the Agiliron POS. Okay, so we don't run that shopping cart. We are not the one doing the financing and all that kind of stuff that you see there. And certainly, if you call that 1-800 number, you're getting support from the hardware vendor directly in terms of anything that you need to see addressed. Can we bring in eBay product reviews or Amazon product reviews? Not at this time. There's no automated mechanism to do that, but that's certainly a good suggestion. Are there any screenshots available for the receiving aspect of the warehouse app? Yes, if you go to the iTunes store and then just search for Agiliron, you will find 2 apps pop up. One is the POS and the other is the warehouse app. And so if you look at the page there, it has the screenshots and everything that that is available for that particular app. So you'll see the flow there. But the other option is, if you signed up for a trial, just sign up for the enterprise trial, and then you can just download the app and test it out yourself. Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. And I guess it's 2 o'clock, so we'll wrap it up here. Stan, any final comments?
No, good questions though. Thanks for the good questions from Aaron and Mark. We always love tough questions, actually. And I think that's it.
All right. Thanks everyone for attending. And let us know if there are any questions by email. You have Stan's contact, and you have mine. Thank you.
And we will be emailing everybody that registered the deck, the 2 decks that Satish and I used, as well as the recording of the webinar itself. So you'll get all that in email. That's it.